single choice can break an empire. Mine did. In the halls of power, every decision echoes through generations, but some choices are so profound, they shatter the very foundation of a dynasty. My choice was one such moment, a turning point that would forever alter the fate of the Kryn Empire. It began with whispers, then the roar of starships. Civil war was coming to the Kryn Empire, all because of me, Princess Zira. The city buzzed with rumors, and the skies filled with the thunder of engines as families braced for the storm. My name was on every tongue, a symbol of hope for some, a harbinger of doom for others. They called me flawed, unfit to rule, cursed by the glowing scars that marked my skin. To the council, I was a blemish on the royal line, a living reminder of a prophecy they wished to forget. My scars set me apart, making me both a target and a legend in the making. But my scars held secrets, ancient power the council feared. They pulsed with energy older than the empire itself, a force that could heal or destroy, depending on who wielded it. The council's fear was not just of me, but of what I represented, change and the unknown. The High Council demanded I hide my scars, erase my story, and become their perfect symbol. They wanted a princess who would bow to tradition, not one who would challenge it. They tried to silence my voice, to mold me into a puppet for their own ambitions. They saw a curse. Captain Jace, the human ambassador, saw strength. Where others saw danger, he saw potential. He stood beside me in the council chambers, defying centuries of prejudice and fear, and offered me the one thing I had never known, unwavering support. He believed in me when no one else did, and that belief threatened to ignite the galaxy. Our alliance was more than political. It was a spark in the darkness, a promise that I was not alone in my fight. Together, we became a symbol of rebellion and a beacon for those who dared to dream of a different future. This is the story of how my scars became the spark for the greatest war the Kryn Empire had ever known. Armies gathered, alliances shifted, and the fate of millions hung in the balance. My scars, once a source of shame, became a rallying cry for those who yearned for freedom. The council wanted me to choose between duty and identity. They demanded loyalty to the old ways, but my heart pulled me toward the new path, one where I could be true to myself and to the power within me. But they never imagined the true nature of my choice, or the destiny written on my skin. My decision would not only decide my fate, but the fate of the entire empire. The power in my scars was not a curse, but a key to a future no one could predict. The galaxy held its breath. Every world, every citizen waited for the moment that would decide whether we would be bound by fear or set free by courage. On one side, tradition and fear, the weight of centuries pressed down on my shoulders, urging me to conform, to surrender to the expectations of my ancestors. On the other, a forbidden gift and a hidden power, the promise of something greater, a future shaped by my own hand, not the chains of the past. And I was about to choose. In that moment, I realized that my scars were not just marks of pain, but symbols of possibility. The war for a princess was about to begin, and with it, the dawn of a new era. The Kryn Empire is a marvel. Crystal cities shimmer beneath the light of twin suns, their spires reaching for the heavens in a display of breathtaking ambition. From above, the metropolis glows with 1,000 hues, each building a testament to the ingenuity and artistry of our people. Our culture is obsessed with perfection. Every detail, from the way we dress to the architecture that surrounds us, is meticulously crafted to reflect an ideal of flawlessness. In Kryn, even the smallest imperfection is noticed and judged. I am Princess Zira, the sole heir to this flawless empire. Yet, despite my royal blood, I am marked by glowing scars that wind across my skin, reminders of a mysterious past, and the reason I am called the flawed jewel. My people see my marks as a curse, a sign of chaos in a world that demands order. Their eyes follow me everywhere, filled with suspicion and disappointment, as if my very existence threatens the harmony they cherish. The law is clear. The heir must be perfect, unmarred by any blemish, physical or otherwise. And I am not. My scars are a constant reminder that I do not fit the mold my ancestors set. To save the empire from unrest, the council decreed I must marry a great warrior, someone whose strength and reputation could restore faith in the royal line. But even this hope was fragile, for who would choose a princess marked by imperfection? If all 100 warriors rejected me, I I would be declared unfit to rule, my claim to the throne erased forever. Each rejection felt like another stone added to the weight I carried. The pressure was crushing. I was isolated in my own palace, a symbol of shame and failure, watched by a world that expected me to disappear quietly. The council urged me to erase my scars, to submit to a procedure that would make me acceptable in their eyes. But deep within, something resisted, a voice that told me my scars were more than just flaws. My scars were my story, a living memory of trials survived and mysteries yet to be unraveled. They were a part of me, not a stain to be hidden. I could not let them be erased, no matter the cost. To deny my scars would be to deny myself and the truth of who I am. I was more than their broken princess. I was determined to find my own path, to prove that strength comes not from perfection, but from embracing what makes us different. In the shadows of the palace, I discovered a secret, an ancient artifact that pulsed with the same light as my scars. It whispered of a forgotten legacy, one that only I could unlock. Soon, the Empire would know that the flawed jewel was not a curse, but the key to Kryn's future. My scars are not a curse, they are ancient battle runes, once worn by the first queens of Kryn. These queens were warriors and explorers, their runes a symbol of cosmic power, but history was rewritten. Their legacy became forbidden, their power feared. My scars are a living reminder of that lost heritage. The choosing ceremony arrived. 100 warriors, 100 chances. I walked the line, my scars exposed, my fate in their hands. The first warrior sneered and turned away. The second, a cold refusal. The third, open scorn. One by one they rejected me, some politely, most with fear. My scars were seen as a disease, not a story. By the 99th, the hall buzzed with whispers. The council watched with grim satisfaction. The final warrior hesitated, but ambition lost to fear. He turned away. 100 rejections. It was official. I was unworthy. The council's verdict was clear. My father's face was pale. I stood alone, rejected by my people. But I refused to bow my head. My story was not over. As the council prepared to seal my fate, a new voice cut through the silence. Captain Jace. He defied protocol, stepping onto the main floor, his gaze fixed on me. Where others saw a curse, he saw a story. He spoke. On my world, scars are marks of survival, strength, and resilience. His words challenged everything that Kryn believed. The council was outraged, but his words echoed in my heart. For the first time, someone saw my scars as strength. In that moment, I felt a powerful connection to this as a flaw, but as a force. The hall was silent, the council stunned. I was no longer invisible, I was seen, and I was ready to fight for my truth. Captain Chase presented his gift, a small, floating silver drone. The council erupted, calling it an insult, demanding I refuse. All eyes were on me. My next words would decide everything. I looked at the drone, then at Jace. He stood his ground, risking everything. The council wanted obedience, but I chose defiance. No, I said, my voice clear. I will not refuse. I thanked Jace for his thoughtful gift. I had not accepted it, but I had not rejected it either. I had drawn a line in the sand. The hall fell silent, shocked. Suddenly, my scars began to glow, brilliant, otherworldly light pulsing from beneath my skin for the first time. Every warrior in the hall froze, their faces a mix of awe and disbelief. Gasps echoed through the chamber. The truth was undeniable. My scars were not a mark of shame, but a symbol of ancient power. In that moment, everyone understood why my marriage had ignited an intergalactic war. My fate was now my own. The first spark of rebellion had been struck, and nothing would ever be the same. My defiance was the council's final straw. That night, they stripped me of my title and claim to the throne. I was no longer Princess Zira, just a disgraced noble. Captain Jace was declared a corrupting influence. The council declared war on all who supported me. Civil war erupted, fleets mobilized, lords arrested. I was locked in my chambers, a prisoner in my own home. Outside, panic and warships filled the sky. My father was powerless. The council's fear ruled. Despair threatened to consume me. But as I stared at my glowing scars, something changed. Energy built within me. The runes pulsed brighter, urgent. My power was awakening, answering the chaos. For the first time, I wasn't afraid. The war had begun, and so had my true story. burst into my chambers, his face etched with urgency and fear. He barely paused to catch his breath before urging me to escape, his voice trembling with the weight of secrets he could not yet share. The air was thick with tension, every second stretching as the fate of our world hung in the balance. As I hesitated, the silver drone that had followed me since childhood hovered before me, its sensors whirring softly. It began to scan the runes etched into my skin, the ancient symbols glowing brighter under its gaze. I felt a strange energy pulsing through me, as if the drone was awakening something long dormant within my bloodline. Suddenly, my scars erupted in a cascade of radiant light, illuminating the entire chamber. The energy surged from my arm, swirling into the air and coalescing into a breathtaking three-dimensional star map that hovered above us. The room was transformed, bathed in the shifting glow of distant suns and nebulae. The map revealed hidden pathways between the stars, secret routes and forgotten worlds that had vanished from Kryn history. It was a tapestry of knowledge, a record of places lost to time and memory, now brought to life in shimmering detail before our eyes. Jake stared in awe, realizing that the patterns on my skin matched the ancient, indecipherable star charts preserved in the royal archives. The runes were not just marks. They were coordinates, a living map encoded in my very flesh, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. The drone, once thought to be a mere curiosity, was in fact a sophisticated key. It was designed to read the language of the runes, unlocking secrets that had been hidden for generations. Its technology was ancient, yet far beyond anything the Council possessed. My scars, once a source of shame and mystery, now held the map to our true legacy. They were the bridge between our forgotten past and the future that awaited us among the stars. The first queens of Kryn had been explorers, visionaries who charted the galaxy's secrets. Their runes were more than symbols, they were guides, passed down through generations, meant to lead us back to the wonders they once discovered. The Council, watching from the shadows, feared not just the power I possessed, but the knowledge I carried. They saw in me a threat to their control, a spark that could ignite change across the Empire. The civil war raging outside these walls was no longer about me alone. It had become a battle for the very soul and future of our people, a struggle between those who clung to the old ways and those who yearned for freedom and discovery. In that moment, the truth struck me with overwhelming clarity. The Kryn Empire had lived in a cage of its own making, bound by fear and secrecy, while the promise of freedom and destiny was written on my skin for all to see. The Council's fear had kept us small, their caution blinding them to the possibilities that lay just beyond our reach. They had chosen safety for greatness, and in doing so, had denied us our birthright. But now, the galaxy was opening before us, its endless expanse calling out with the promise of new beginnings. The stars beckoned, and I knew we could no longer turn away. The time for secrets was over. Our destiny was waiting, shimmering just beyond the horizon, ready to be claimed by those brave enough to reach for it. With Jace's help, I escaped and broadcast the star map to the entire Empire. I revealed the truth. My scars were a birthright, not a curse. The revelation shattered the Council's authority. Warriors and lords turned to my side. The civil war collapsed before it began. A new alliance formed, not through marriage, but through shared purpose and rediscovered identity. I chose to keep my scars. They were my strength and my guide. Captain Jace and the humans became our greatest allies. Together we formed a new galactic alliance dedicated to exploration and discovery. My story was no fairy tale, it was a lesson. Our scars can be hidden maps to a greater future. The Kryn Empire's journey had just begun, and so had mine. Sometimes, the things we fear most hold the key to everything. The universe was waiting, and I was ready.